A very conciliatory George Harrison appeared on CBS This Morning 35 years ago today and promoting the single When We Was Fab. So he was talking about the Beatles and what it was like to be a Beatle in 1988 and the controversy over McCartney not showing up at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. But George sure does sound positive about aging gracefully and being able to look back on the good things in the Beatles' relationship rather than getting quagmired over all the business hassles and the negative stuff. So this is really one of the best short little George Harrison interviews that I've found in my collection of recordings. I'm sure you're going to like it.
Still ahead, George Harrison remembers John, Paul, and Ringo when they were the Fab Four. I don't know about you, but this makes me feel just a little bit older. On Thursday, George Harrison, remember George Harrison? He's going to be 45 years old. While his solo career is doing just thank you, George still thinks about his days with John, Paul, and Ringo. In fact, his current video is about the Beatles. Here's a look at George Harrison at 45 and the new video when he was Fab.
When We Was Fab was purely to try and invoke the feeling of 1967, 68. I think in the past, you know, the Beatles, we had great fun and then we had great pain and misery together and we had a lot of problems. As everybody knows, we went up and down and round and round. And at this stage of my life, I can look back on it and really remember the good things about it. And that song is really in celebration of the good side of it.
It's certainly wonderful to be here, and certainly a thrill.
We've all gone through problems with businesses and different things, but they've all slowly been getting solved, and we're right on the point now, I think, the best time we've ever been at in order to get all our past problems solved. Plus the fact that we've spent a lot of time with meetings with Paul, having dinner and just being friends, because having not spent a lot of time with him, you have to get to re-know each other again. And we were just in the process of doing that and enjoying each other's company, and with Ringo, having dinner, just having a laugh, and for some strange reason he decided to superimpose some old business thing that was getting solved anyway onto the Hall of Fame. And it was a shame he didn't come, really.
It is unfortunate Paul's not here because he was the one who had the speech in his pocket.
Why didn't they play Octopus's Garden?
Anyway, we all know why John can't be here, and I'm sure he would be, and it's hard really to stand here supposedly representing the Beatles. It's what's left, I'm afraid. But we all loved him so much, and we all love Paul very much.
We always had a deal together that the Beatles were us four. If any one of that four wasn't in the band, the Beatles wouldn't exist. And it can't really exist just with the three of us, but at the same time, we could all be on a stage together, I suppose, like we could have done at the Hall of Fame if Paul had been there. It's always fun working with Ringo. You see him in the video of Fab, and he's so cute. He is, you know. He's like whatever it was about him in Hard Day's Night, you know, where he just had this natural thing that makes him cute. He's still got it. Well, I have been busy making films, but I have also made a few recordings. Last year we made a film which is just out in New York now, and Los Angeles, which is the first American film with all American people, actors and crew, and that's called Five Corners, directed by Tony Bill.
So, now she tells me she's breaking up with me on account of Hines being back.
You said that.
Oh, you didn't contradict me. And that she's going to Harry for protection. Now the whole world knows that Harry's out to lunch with this Gandhi thing.
Would you like some coffee?
No, I think a cup of coffee right now would give me a heart attack. Thank you.
I must admit I prefer records, because there's more control that you can have over records. It's not just making a record anymore. You have to do promotion, you have to do your videos, and unfortunately everybody gets to see you, or fortunately, whichever way you look at it, and it just means, you know, it's much higher profile and makes it more difficult getting. There was so much attention on the Beatles that it left very little space for privacy or just to breathe generally. But at the same time, I realized there was such a lot of love. There's a lot of love out there for us too.
You know, when I see the U2, I always wonder if the new generation has the same kind of passion for the U2 like our generation had for the Beatles.
Couldn't take my eyes off those pictures of that, all of that stuff. 11 minutes before the hour, CBS This Morning continues.
Thank you for watching Cleveland Live Music. Don't worry, this cop that's approaching is not going to interrupt great uploads. He hopefully supports the channel as much as you folks who hit the subscribe button do. There's Patreon and GoFundMe information that I doubt he's going to do. You can. But subscribe. Keep watching. That's all that counts.